Hello friends, and welcome back to The Wizard of Oz. This is the final chapter. Have you enjoyed it so far? I've enjoyed reading to you, and I'm excited for the next book we're going to read. Now, I will return to the Oz series because there's like 20-some books to read. But I'm going to take a break, and we're going to read The Witches by Roald Dahl. So here we go. Chapter 24, Home Again. Aunt Em had just come out of the house to water the cabbages when she looked up and saw Dorothy running toward her. "My darling child," she cried, folding the little girl in her arms and covering her face with kisses. "Where in the world did you come from?" "From the land of Oz," said Dorothy gravely. "And here is Toto, too. And oh, Aunt Em, I'm so glad to be at home again." And that is the end. So what did you think of The Wizard of Oz? The film is quite different. And although it seems sometimes that there is some padding in this book, I do like the way that the arc closes and how everybody is returned to a particular part in the story to rule, and that the winged monkeys are able to be free, and the silver shoes vanish for another time. So a lot of good stuff in this book. A lot of different things too. The China people, the Quadlings, the Hammerhead people. But I forgot to tell you, the Quadlings and the China people are in this movie, Legends of Oz, which ironically is not any of the Oz books that L. Frank Baum wrote. It's a book by Roger Stanton Baum, which I assume is some relation. I don't know how. I probably should have looked it up, but I didn't, so I apologize. But so even though there's a wealth of material of Oz books, they decided to use a brand new book to write this movie. And it's okay. It's got Martin Short, it's got Dan Aykroyd. But I did like Kelsey Grammer's in it too, Kelsey Grammer, and who else is in this? Jim Belushi, that's right, Jim Belushi's in this. Leah Michele, Hugh Dancy, Megan Hilty, Oliver Platt, Patrick Stewart, Bernadette Peters. So it's got a good cast, and its heart is in the right place, but I would have preferred to see more of the original Oz stories come back. And then there's the other movie, Oz the Great and Powerful, which has nothing to do with the books other than it's a lead-in to the story of how Oz came to the land of Oz, and also the setup for what happened with the Wicked Witch. But then there's other stories out there too. There's like a whole series of young adult books, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but it precedes like Dorothy something, sorry, I can't remember. And then of course there's the Wicked books, which was turned into a wonderful musical, and there's several of those. There's Wicked, Son of a Witch, there's a book on the lion too. I want to say it's The Lion Among Us, but I might be wrong on that. And those are by Gregory Maguire. So there's a lot of different stories out there. Also, years ago, there were silent films that preceded the motion picture. And then there's a soulful version of The Wizard of Oz called The Wiz, which just had a new revival cast on television not too long ago, although I do prefer the Diana Ross, Michael Jackson version directed by Joel Schumacher. Almost forgot his name. But, yeah, so there's a lot of stories about The Wizard of Oz, and there's a lot of inspiration that was taken from The Wizard of Oz and made into other things. In fact, there's another book I'm going to read from Toto's perspective of the events that happened in The Wizard of Oz, so that should prove interesting, too. I might do that aside next to the Witches. But The Witches is a really good book, so I think you're going to like that one. Hey, thanks for joining me. This was something that I've been excited about doing since I started reading an entire book. I know I've read books each day, but you know those are this is a chapter book as opposed to like a children's picture book. So this was an exciting endeavor, and I finally got to realize this years ago. I think I started saying this in the beginning of this whole journey. When I was a kid, I had a tape deck with a play and record button I pushed down. And ironically, same thing happened. I was reading, and then someone decided to mow the lawn. In that case, it was my father. But, I mean, I think you'll probably barely hear the noise. So, but back then, you heard it. You heard it very loud and clear, and I was a little annoyed. But I was in what, 5th, 6th grade. So that's it. Had fun, had a good time. Hope you did. Hope everyone enjoyed it. I hope that, I mean, this is public domain, so this isn't going anywhere. This can be on my YouTube channel forever. The other books I don't know about. That all depends on what happens, I guess. So, but I really enjoyed reading it, and I'm going to take this weekend off, and I think I'll start fresh on Monday with The Witches, okay? I'll still be reading the picture books, but no more chapter books until Monday, okay? So have a good night, good weekend, and take care. Bye now.